This video is about creating full citations in APA 7th edition. What are the basic aspects of APA citation style? Aspect 1. Authors. References in APA are often broken up into two parts: how to represent the author or authors, and then the rest of the citation. As I go through this tutorial, I will separate the sections of an APA reference with an orange line following the section. Understanding how to represent the authors of a work is your first big hurdle in finishing a citation. The way to treat authors in your full reference does not change with the type of item you are citing. Learning this approach will work for all APA authors in full references at the end of your paper. Note that the examples show progressively more author information that will begin your references. Because first and middle names are always shortened to initials in APA style, it is easy to convert any author information from 1 to 20 authors. APA 7th requires up to 20 authors be noted in the reference. APA Publication Manual, page 28. There is a separate formula for works with more than 20 authors. Note this formula is different from in-text citations in APA, which we will cover in another video. Organizations and agencies can be considered the author if no stated author is present. Follow the written entry with a period according to page 288 of the APA Publication Manual. The next part of an APA citation is the date. Note that the orange line is moved, indicating the end of this new section. According to page 289 of the APA Publication Manual, the date will be represented in parentheses and followed by a period or full stop. Although usually just a publication year, as in example 1, 2007, the year may also be followed by a comma to include a specific month and day, as in example 2, 2020, July 2nd, or as a season in example 3, 2016, fall/winter. If no date is found on the work, express that, as in example 4, end period, D period. Next in a reference comes the title. Note how the orange line is moved to the end of the title section in the examples. According to page 291 of the APA Publication Manual, titles fall into two areas: those that are whole unto themselves, like books or videos or reports, and those we will talk about on the next slide. The titles that are whole unto themselves are represented in italics and in sentence case, meaning that only the first word of the title and the first word of the subtitle are capitalized, along with proper nouns, which are always capitalized. Note examples 1 and 2 below. Note how proper nouns such as Maine and Canada are capitalized, along with the first word of the title and subtitle. Edition information, if present, for example, revised edition, third edition, can be entered after the title but before the period following the title and in parentheses. Note example 3 on the slide. Other types of information can also appear in the same parentheses, better known abbreviations or translators. See example 4 below. When dealing with an article from a journal, titles will take on a different look according to page 291 of the APA Publication Manual, namely that the title of the journal article will not be in italics. Note examples 1 and 2 on the slide. When citing an item that is part of a larger whole, the larger whole in this case being the journal that houses the journal article, the title is written without italics and with all the same rules applying about sentence case. Only the first word of the title and the subtitle are capitalized, along with any proper nouns. As in other examples, the title section is also followed by a period or full stop. On this slide, the italics are transferred to the larger entity, the journal. The journal title will appear in the next part of the citation, called the source. Since journal articles are often the majority of references in college, we will continue with the journal article as the first example in the source section. When you are dealing with a journal article, the source aspect of the citation will have the full journal name capitalized in title case. That means that every word's first letter is capitalized except for articles. It is in italics, followed by a comma, a space, and then the volume number, also in italics. The issue number, if present, is in parentheses and is not in italics, even though it is immediately next to the volume number. It is followed by a comma, a space, and then the page range of the article, followed by a period. In example 1, Insect Life is the journal name. 26 is the volume number, 3 is the issue number, and 35 to 37 are the pages. The second example we might deal with in the last part of the citation called a source is a book. Notice that the orange line is now at the end of the citation. If you are dealing with a book, the source will either include the publisher by itself, a publisher with a DOI, or if it is a book chapter with a different author, the word in, and then an additional citation part for the rest of the book. So after the title section ends with a period, the source section of the citation is created as follows. If it is a printed book, just the publisher, as in example 1, Paleo Press, or the publisher and a DOI, as in example 2, Edinburgh Scholarship Online, followed by the DOI link. On this slide, think of the examples as similar works. Example 1 is in print, and example 2 is the 4th edition and is online. A book chapter with a different author than the whole work will most likely be an edited work. It will look similar to a regular book citation, except that after the title following the chapter title, it will include the word in and an extra citation part for the rest of the book. So in example 1, after the chapter title Citatia, you put a period or full stop. Then the word in, followed by the editors of the work. Editors in the source section are with first and middle initials first, which is the opposite of how they are shown in the author section. They are followed with capital EDS, period, in parentheses. Follow the editor's portion with a comma, and then the larger whole work called Ocean Fauna in the Polar Regions, in italics. This is followed by the specific page range, in parentheses, followed by a period, and then finally the publisher, in this case, Greenwald Press. End with a period or full stop. In example 2, you have the same title, but now it is shown online and with an edition number. Put the edition information before the page numbers of the chapter and within the same parentheses. Separate them with a comma. This is followed again by the publisher and a period or full stop. If a DOI is present, it is attached to the end of the citation, like other examples in books and articles. Note that even though this item is a book, in both examples, the italics have been transferred to the larger entity and are not present in the original chapter titles. Websites. If you are dealing with a website, first make sure it is not possible to call it something else. As explained on page 282, 350, and 351 of the APA Publication Manual, a website with a book should be treated like a book. A website with a report should be treated like a report. Only treat a citation like a website if you cannot treat it like something else. As shown on page 351 and in example 1, stylistically, websites are treated much like books. The author section is the same. The date section is the same, though you'll have a more up-to-date date. Websites are considered whole unto themselves, so the title section is in italics. In the source section, the publisher is replaced by the overall website name, unless the author and website name are the same. In a website, it is permissible to use the parent organization as the publisher, with the lesser organization as the author. For example, the Center for Disease Control and Prevention is both the author and title of the website, so we can use the parent organization, Department of Health and Human Services, as the publisher. Because there are specific rules in APA about using DOIs, I wanted to quickly address this idea. DOIs are usually located as links, or just as numbers beginning with 10. If a DOI is found as a link, go ahead and use it. If the DOI is a number, convert it into a link by using the URL http://doi.org. Place a slash after the org, then the number that begins with 10. It's that easy. Remember that in APA 7th edition, links do not end with punctuation. If you would like more information about creating full citations in APA 7th edition, contact the Writing Center on the 3rd floor of Glickman Library, or contact the Reference Office at 780-4272, or use our Ask a Librarian link on the USM Library homepage. Thanks so much for your time and attention.